All right. We got ourselves an EU 196 Grand Finals. Upper in the top right side, representing Storm Gaming, it is MAXPAX. And he's been admittedly struggling on the new patch, saying on this new map pool, new season, he's feeling a bit uncomfortable, especially in mid to late game. He said he feels like it's hard to capitalize on advantages, and he's unsure of how to do so right now. He does feel like a lot of the Protoss players I've talked to have said they don't really feel the disruptor supply increase that much. But MAXPAX is the one who said, I don't like it. It just having that little bit less supply really feels uncomfortable. And he's also, because there is so much dead space on a lot of these maps and a lot of different attack drop angles, definitely he's been talking about how Widow Mines seem to be actually a little bit stronger on this patch for that reason, as well as the fact that Phoenix openings seem to lack a little bit of their luster since the Cyclones can be pumped out 2 at a time. Clem in the bottom left is a problem for him, representing Team Liquid. Team Liquid versus Storm, because Clem is playing super standard. But what I would notice in his play is he's playing a lot of reacted Hellions lately. I don't know if he does it in this finals, but I know in his recent matches, there's been a lot of reacted Hellions coming out. And that the scary thing about those reactive factory builds is they used to be very vulnerable to certain aggression. But nowadays you can just pump 2 Cyclones out reactively and defend. Also, you can go Widow Mines, you can go Hellions, you can drop them, you don't have to. The flexibility off the reacted factory opening, it used to be countered by the fact that Protoss were opening Phoenix a fair bit, and Phoenix would kind of counter it. But because the Protoss have leaned away from that Stargate Phoenix opening, I do feel it's getting a bit too much power. So what I'd like to see mixed in from MAXPAX this series is a decent amount of Phoenix play, and I do still think it's very possible. I don't think the kind of lesson is fully out and decided yet on, oh, Phoenix are bad. People have been saying it a lot. I'm guilty of it myself. I've said, oh, I've heard Phoenix is bad. I don't really know if it is or not. And I do like that MAXPAX is opening with a Stargate. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if it was an Oracle, as I know Showtime and a few other Protoss players have been saying Oracle is a fantastic opening because the Cyclone doesn't have as much lock-on range. It used to be if you run into their base, Cyclone locks on, you're usually dead. But now your Oracle can almost always get away, and that actually makes the Oracle way better as a constant scouting and harassment unit. Zealot's going to come in, but Clem did go reactor before factory, so he has a good Marine count here. And Clem's playing completely blind, and he's just building a Cyclone. He's just like, yep, Marines, Cyclone. He's going 3rd command center. Oh, he's playing super greedy. He's going to build it down here. He's going to build a command center down there, I think, guys. Right? Starts chasing after the Adept. Zealot's going down. The Adept is here. As the Cyclone comes out, though, there's nothing you can really do with that. There we go. 3rd command center on the high ground. And you do get a base here that's protected by double mineral wall and destructible rocks that are all meant to share damage, though apparently they're a little buggy right now. I've heard that it doesn't always share the damage exactly equally, but it's mostly working as intended. Have we got a goddamn Dwemer ruin over here, guys? I don't know. Cool scenery on this part of the map. Oh, good Cyclone control, dude. The Adepts shade to get away from the Cyclone. They die to the Marines. Well, this is a bit of a smackdown, MAXPAX. I mean, where does he just kill an SCV and run away? The Cyclone's pretty close by, but actually, luckily for him, it does go back towards the main, but he actually is going to run into a few Marines in that mineral line. Probably not worth engaging there. Grabs an SCV, grabs a Marine, goes for the mule, doesn't quite get it. Good attempt for MAXPAX, but he takes some heavy damage. He's building Phoenix behind this, as well as a Robo and a 3rd and 4th gas, and you can see he's mining out these minerals, trying to clear open the path to build that 3rd Nexus. The Morrowind lore is deep in this map, says chat. Oh, are these... I mean, these are almost mushrooms. It could be like a Telvanni tower. I replayed Morrowind like 6 months ago or something, including when I was traveling. The great thing about replaying classic games, for anyone who hasn't done that, is they run really well on laptops, and you can like play them in airports and on planes and stuff. So if you do a lot of traveling, they're really good for that. It's actually like my classic games, either replaying or... Like a few years ago, I went and played Heroes of Might and Magic 3 for the first time ever, which, by the way, for those who don't know, is insane. Every single person in Eastern Europe still plays that game on a daily basis. Any MMA fans, I remember watching my buddy linked me. He's like, dude, check out this UFC countdown video with Jan Blachowicz. And he's like in his hotel room before the fight, and him and his coach are playing Heroes of Might and Magic on their laptop plugged into the TV before a goddamn world title fight. I'm like, okay, this is hilarious. Anyways, we're off the topic. Let's cast the game in hand. Phoenix are coming in, picking up some SCVs. We're playing Heroes of Marines and Metavacs for Clem up against Heroes of Lasers for Protoss in MAXPAX's shoes. A couple of extra gateways coming in. Forge and Twilight. No extra gateways, actually. Still only on 2 gates. Just Phoenix Colossus play, which makes sense for this map. And I got to say, I think he's done pretty well. The start was terrible for MAXPAX, but the Oracle did a little bit of damage. He hasn't lost it. Clem has done nothing to exert himself on the map at all. Clem is playing very turtly. And to be fair, this map has led to quite a few turtly late game scenarios, which is fascinating because when King Sejong Station was in the map pool in early Legacy, it was all about dropping on the left, dropping on the right, attacking, doing crazy all-ins, sieging up across behind the natural expansion and all that sort of stuff, which no one's really doing right now for SCVs to go down. Because, like, you can put siege tanks there and they actually reach to, like, almost the minerals, I think. I guess you can't really reach too far across the sides, though. Observer does see everything right now. Army moving forward. Charges on the way. MAXPAX does need to build a few more gateways here. He's building a second Colossus and extended thermal lance +1. He's also building 2 batteries, which are nice, but the lack of actual warp-ins available is an issue. 3rd and 4th gateway do go down. I saw Lambo lose to Proxy Tempest on this map yesterday, says Fenrak. Oh! Can you DM that to me, mate? I want to try and get that replay. I'll harass Lambo for that replay. I'll be like, hey, Lambo, heard you died to a dumb cheese. Send me that replay. I want to cast. Always excited to see. I mean, I did see Hero play Tempests on this map. Not proxied, but just a 2 Stargate Tempest Rush. And he looked fantastic. That was, actually, no, it wasn't Hero. I think someone else played that. I'm trying to remember who it was. Yeah, it might have been Hero. All right, Phoenix darting back as well. Shoot me a message on Discord, Fenrak. I never read my Twitch DMs, unfortunately. Oh, Oracle. You see, that's what I'm talking about. That Oracle survives even when it goes way deeper than it should have. He's going to go for a charge Archon timing, I think. MAXPAX, unless he starts the 4th right now and starts probing, I believe he's really thinking about going for a big 3-base push. And if he can hit with Archons before there's Ghosts out, then that'll be great. He's going to Chrono a Prism after the Colossus and then start warping in Archons and Zealots. And that's a natural power point for Protoss. And the Viking production's only just starting as well, guys. So first 2 Vikings building. Unfortunately for MAXPAX, he's out of position. But losing the 4th base, if anything, is just going to convince him to go even more all in. It had only just started, so cancelling that's not the end of the world. It's only the same resource cost as losing a Zealot. He's building a probe right now, but only a probe. Prism's coming out. +2's on the way. Blink. Second Forge. Phoenix is still out there on the left. I like that he's just tagging those units, making sure there's no drop coming in from that left watchtower. Few Zealots going to try to join up, or a single Zealot for the tower, I guess. Prism's going across. MAXPAX being very passive right now. No extra robos coming in, which I find curious. I think on these really big defensive maps like this one, to a certain extent Golden Aura, and a few of the other maps, I thought we'd see a lot more players going kind of how Classic was playing with 5 robos, like go up to lots of robos earlier. Or if you want to stick to this older, more aggressive kind of get in their face style, you got to go quickly across the map and be aggressive. And the Observer finally goes down. MAXPAX is getting set up to be aggressive, but it seems like, look at this, Clem's got Widow Mines, Vikings, he's got units everywhere, and look at that. Oh man, MAXPAX, at least he gets the Zealots out. Does unload those 4 Zealots, but losing the Prism means he can only attack from one angle. Up a ramp, and without the Prism to support, this is a pressure. This is not a real fight. Ghosts are now out, so you got EMP, which can ruin the Archons. You got the Vikings, and I kind of feel like the investment in Zealot Archon has gained nothing for MAXPAX. I actually don't think it's achieved anything for him, because he's gone Zealot Archon, he didn't probe his 4th. The only thing he's really been adding to his tech is upgrades and blink, which is not as important as extra robos or blink DTs or something that he can really do something aggressive with. And I think moving across that map like that, investing so much in essentially gaining map control, doesn't really give him any advantages. And it gives time for Clem to go 2-2, 3 Vikings at a time. He could potentially even build 4 at a time if he uses the full starport potential. There's a lot he can do here. Now the Phoenix is going to take a Widow Mine, boom, boom. There's an army in the top left. Triple drop coming forwards. MAXPAX is nearby. He might be able to pounce on that. Phoenix do pick up that Widow Mine. They're going to pull back. If they come up to the north, they could maybe catch this. The army is nearby. And Clem is going to pull away from that. Zealot run by in the top left. New Prism coming down the right side, but there's still 2 Widow Mines in a turret there. Clem always wants to focus his army on the left, and he wants to ensure the Prism cannot get in from that right side, because he knows that'll ruin his day. Gets in here before the planetary is done. Killing the refinery, not the most important, but he gets a few SCVs, gets a fresh mule, not too bad. And he's going to... Oh, this is smart. This is smart. He realizes that bottom angle is cut off, so he's going to drop up here instead. Great move with the Prism. I love this adjustment by MAXPAX. He's going to warp in Zealots up here. This is so fantastic. Oh, Vikings. Ow. Vikings snap it immediately, but that may open up the push path on the front. But remember, he doesn't have a Prism or a pylon there. The Zealots are doing great damage in the back of that base. The bio comes forward. 15 SCVs have gone down. This is great damage for MAXPAX. But without the potential to warp in on the front, he does have to back away from here. And he is starting to go into the balls. He's got 2 balls out, a third one on the way right now. They are rallying forwards into this army. And he's going to be running into that max supply issue that MAXPAX has been complaining about. And he's only got 2 robos, so he can't rebuild them that quickly. I think extra robos might be more important than ever on this patch. But he's going to go for the DTs. And I do think DTs are still fantastic. Great disruptor shot, but he loses one. Oh, God. And he's getting run down, and this is always an issue. If the Terran just has a bigger, scarier army than you, they can kind of chase you down on the map. The Colossus become very bad units once there's 10 Vikings out. That Disruptor shot doing pretty well. The Bio army is actually very wounded from like double or triple stimming here. A lot of those Marauders are triple stimmed, some are double stimmed. But has he got enough value from it that it's kind of okay, potentially? Units lost tab shows a massive advantage for Clem. He's got the 4 bases up, and it's that ability to pick when and where you engage that's always turning into an issue for these Protoss players. I really like one thing Trigger's been very good at is forcing fights. When the Terran comes out to fight them, Trigger likes to split his army up and come from 2 sides. Right when they're kind of overextended with stimming a little bit too much after him, you'll see a flank of like Immortal Zealot Archon come in. And the Immortal count especially that Trigger and a few other players are going for, you know, it's weird. It's been a few years of Trigger climbing. It's not really something where in that time I've referenced him as a kind of guy who's leading the meta, but I really do feel he's actually figured something out in PvT right now, even if he's not quite at the consistency level of a MAXPAX or a Hero just yet. Calling Hero consistent kind of sounds funny with how he plays, but here we go. I think MAXPAX is trying to get a bit of the flanky flank on. Oh, big disruptor shots! Big disruptor shots landing. Oh, great disruptor shots. Takes out quite a few Marauders, but he's empty. And he needs to get out of there. Force fields on that ramp could buy him a lot of time. He's got a sentry. A few force fields would buy him so much time. Oh, okay, the disruptors are rallying in. Only getting a single Marine with that one. And Clem's got to be careful about chasing too deep. But, oh, the force fields never got used. MAXPAX is losing 2 more disruptors there that he could have saved. And remember, he's only got 2 robos. Okay, 3rd robo's now up. He's got Blink Dark Templar almost here. Air weapons +3. I mean, what's Clem doing though? Clem really hasn't made any plays in this game. He's just been playing a very campy style. He's going advanced ballistics +2 ship weapons. So it looks like range liberators will be the play for him. But they're not going to get out until carriers are on the field. And I think carriers are a pretty decent answer to those liberators. So this is actually going to work pretty well for him. I also like that MAXPAX, last time I cast him, he was going to 85 to 95 workers every game, and he just didn't have enough supply for army. Stopping on 80 gives him a nice match here of good economy, but also gets a decent amount of supply for army. Oh, these Phoenix are actually doing pretty well as well. Gets another medevac there. Does disengage. The Phoenix will clean up those Vikings, or the Vikings, sorry, will clean up the Phoenix, I should say. 5 disruptors are out. That army looks kind of small there. MAXPAX has got to be careful, but I like that he's maintaining some map control by spreading his army out. And where's the Liberator count? The first 3 Liberators are now building. Marauders coming in as well. It's going to be 3/3 upgrades for Terran soon. And +3 armor is still a bit further away for Protoss, but similar upgrades on both sides. Only 3 Ghosts in the mix, which is an interesting thing. That he actually needs more Ghosts to really use EMP to the maximum ability. He's going for a 3rd Starport is Clem. MAXPAX is down in that unit's lost tab, but only about 2,000 or 3,000 a little bit closer to. It's not the end of the world. That's a lot of Zealots going for a run by, and most of his supplies on the other side of the map. Clem doesn't have that many units in production. These Zealots are going to be hard to deal with. Clem at the same time is going to get chased on the front a little bit, trying to distract that army as MAXPAX. Clem is just going to go for it like a mad dog. And of course, MAXPAX just pulls out those sneaky nuts and says, mate, there's no way. Looks like there was enough bio that came home to defend, combined with the Liberators there sieged up. Didn't want to risk going through that with the Zealots. If the Zealots run into the Marauders out in the open, they can actually do okay against it. Marauders don't really have enough firepower on their own to deal with those Zealots. Oh, good micro by Clem. Runs away when he needs to, chases when he needs to. Gold base trying to get up here from MAXPAX. He doesn't have a lot of support. This is an almost entirely Disruptor army with a few Archons and Stalkers. And as he brings his Zealots forward, maybe he can think about actually taking a fight. Carrier count is up to 4. He hasn't revealed them yet. He wants to get rid of these Vikings if possible before he does that. Oh, that was a good shot. But the Nexus does go down. You can see that's the first Nexus to die in this game. A few pylons as well. +2 ship weapons is on the way. He's hoping to get that upgrade up and get up a really good carrier count before he shows them. 5 base up against 5 base. MAXPAX does need to keep transferring workers. You can see his bases are mining out. He's very paranoid because Clem keeps denying this left watchtower. He's only got a cannon, a battery, and a few stalkers. It's not a very good defensive force there. With the carriers nearby, they can defend it, but you don't really want it to be revealed. And the scan sees the carriers banking up, and immediately Clem realizes, oh god, you've actually got a carrier force already. Stalkers try to get a full medevac. They're not quite able to snipe it. It looks like it's time for those carriers to come to the front. Now, Psystorm never got made in this game. Remember that Psystorm is the great equalizer against Terran air units. Obviously, though, you need to be tricky with your positioning. You can't just come from the front like you do with Disruptors. High Templar need to be scattered around the map and used positionally to slow down the maneuverability of the Terran rather than land direct hits. You punish a Terran that gets a bit too cavalier. This is what I'm talking about. You see the way those Vikings are running out in front of that army? Carriers are going to jump on top. They do get EMP'd. The Vikings should die pretty quickly, though. 1 or 2 carriers have already fallen. Army comes up from the north. Only 1 carrier has gone down so far, guys. There's actually still a good interceptor count, but I don't know who wins these trades. It looks like still a very similar units lost differences there was a few minutes ago, so they're trading evenly. If we look at the income tab, it has been back and forth. MAXPAX was ahead for a while. Clem has recently been a little ahead. We've got that ranged Liberator harassment starting on the right side. Liberator being a nuisance right now. Just getting a sip of water in this action pack game. I have no idea how long this game is going to go for, so we better keep an eye on it. Mama's on the way. Now, Mama might be a waste of 6 supply. She might be fantastic. She might be a waste. I really don't know. Carrier's going to clean that up. And how many carriers did he stop at, guys? I believe it was 7. 7 carriers. No, he's building more. He's going up to 9. And carriers are pretty damn good units, man. I do worry about the lack of Storm. He's got the gas for it. There's no reason not to have Psystorm in games like this. All you need to do is show 1 or 2 High Templar, and they can be absolute game enders for the Terran. But I've been talking about this for years with Protoss players, and they are very resistant to the idea. They occasionally agree, but only after I really have to bend their arm, twist their arm to get them to agree. It's a very late game addition. The triple drop comes in the top. Zealot Stalker does come in there as well. Zealot's going after that planetary. The big drop's going to pick up in towards the main base. Stalker warps in there as well. These Zealots aren't shift-clicked on the SCVs, so they're not really getting damage. If you target the SCVs, they do decent damage. Oh, a couple pylons starting to go down. These Zealots going into a choke point. Oh my god, that's really annoying. He's going to have to use a lot of warp-ins to deal with this. But it looks like finally the Zealots and Stalkers are breaking through. Carriers attack the front! Oh my god, he senses weakness. Clem needs to pull back. Clem should not be fighting right now. This is such a bad fight for Clem. Clem just took a terrible fight. He just lost most of his Vikings, guys. Against the carrier army, it's kind of like a one-punch army. He's trying to overwhelm you. You cannot take a bad fight. You've got to be cautious. Clem is building 7 Vikings, but he also needs to get armor upgrades, as does MAXPAX once he gets that +3 armor. These Marauders are still not cleaned up. They're being so annoying, man. Stalkers are still being warped in. Stalkers are one of the lowest efficiency for their supply cost units in the game. The fact that there's 19 Stalkers, that's 38 supply on Stalkers. There's 3 Disruptors, though. If they can clear the ground army, the Stalkers overwhelm. Stalkers will do great versus Vikings. That's kind of what MAXPAX is banking on right now. Notice the ghost count has grown a lot. Something like High Templar wouldn't be as effective. Archons would be nearly worthless in this scenario. Drop comes in on the top, gets deflected by cannons. I like that there's observers still getting put forward here. Clem's struggling to take a new base right now. Clem really needs a new base, guys. The question is, does he take the gold or the top left? MAXPAX has the bottom right, and he's using that very nicely. I think he's going to take the gold base again in the near future, most likely. Neither side has a lot of bank, and there is a nuke coming down. MAXPAX should be well aware of that. Just cancel those buildings that are a bit too close. Those ones up in the top right, probably far enough away to survive that. And you can even queue these probes to move there and then go back to mining, if you don't want to have to look at it again. Oh, MAXPAX is going for a recall! It's the backdoor surprise from MAXPAX. Oh, he's going to recall in. The Widow Mines do get some decent hits there, softening up some of those units, but not really killing much. And a couple of orbitals here. I think he wants to kill them and then try to recall out. I don't think you want to stand here and fight. It's an awkward angle to fight. Tries to cloak. Mama goes down. Stalkers doing what they can. One of the disruptor shots is already fired. Another disruptor shot does push Clem's units back. The Stalkers are ruining the Vikings right now, but Clem focuses down the last disruptor shot before it can connect, and that forces the Stalkers to disengage. If it wasn't for that, a lot of the Marauder Ghost would have gone down, and the Stalkers would have been able to stay there and kill a lot of Vikings. Instead, he ends up losing a little bit in the efficiency, even though he kills a few command centers. Now, where is the orbital count? It's at 7 for Clem, so he does have the Iron Bank guys, even after losing 2 command centers. He's making a planetary in the top left as well. Mass Blink Dark Templar are heading there, but Clem is ready for it. If he spots these DTs and EMPs them, he wins the game. And he's going to spot them. Oh, no. Watch Clem's vision, guys. We're on Clem's vision. Watch him notice. He's going to see them. He's going to see them. No, he's not looking. He's not looking. Oh, he notices late. The DTs actually get the first attack off and blink away. They kill a bunch of Terran units. Clem is normally so good with his eyes, but he got distracted looking down the bottom, and he didn't quite see it. Stalker's coming up here as well. Okay, MAXPAX is way behind in this game. That nuke in the bottom is so annoying as well, but I think those Zealot Warpins will deal with it. MAXPAX is down on the income. The mules are going to be massive. In this sort of scenario, if you take a bad trade like that, like, you need to trade better than the Terran, because once they have the Iron Bank, he simply doesn't need as many workers, and yet he has equal workers to you, and he's dropping tons of mules on the top left. Of course, he's mining thousands more, and this is why it's up to Protoss to get more of an advantage and do more earlier in the game. That's always been the way it's been for Protoss versus Terran in the last few years, at the very least, is you want to do more earlier, because Terran's always kind of had this crazy good end game where if they get managed, 5,000 extra resources, build 10 extra orbital command centers, they have unlimited mules, they have unlimited scans, they get map packs. There's this ultra late game sort of almost win condition that Terran unlocks. Now, MAXPAX is going to be able to build one more good army, but I don't think it'll be a great army. With a lot of ghosts, the Archons in the mix lack a lot of power. There's only 4 disruptors. MAXPAX is trying to get a gold base up, but if Clem kills that, he'll take the game out. Now, in MAXPAX's defense, there's 14 Vikings that aren't very useful units. The problem is the 9 Liberators. There's no answer to those 9 Liberators. 18 Stalkers ain't going to do jack against that. Look at these Lib zones marching forward. MAXPAX is falling back. He throws 2 disruptors out. They land on nothing. The disruptors are exposed on the right. A single Lib zones them out. The bio moves up the guts. The gold base is denied. And that is an easy denial for Clem. Taking away the heart of MAXPAX's economy. MAXPAX is looking desperate right now. He really doesn't have any plays left to him. And it looks like Clem here played a very turtly defensive early game on Radhuset Station. That seems to have been enough. Army coming in from both sides. The disruptors throw their balls out. The Vikings simply lift up. The disruptors hit nothing but air. And MAXPAX has to throw in the towel. Clem takes a very confident game 1. All right, here we go, guys. We got MAXPAX in the bottom right side representing Storm Gaming. In the top left, we've got Team Liquid's Clem. Great game 1 for Clem. It was really turtly, though. I expect them to play much more aggressive this game. I think Site Delta, a smaller map. You still got plenty of drop space in the main. Got a little bit of dead space behind the natural in the third. A bit of dead space behind the main. I don't know if that's big enough to hide in, but there's actually just dead space everywhere. That's actually something which is interesting, because I feel like that actually affects balance more than I had ever realized for TvP in this last year or so. Dead space on the edges. I guess pillars as well. Frequency of pillars on maps makes a big difference. I feel like it's beyond my ability. No, it's not beyond my... Okay, it's beyond my effort level, let's be honest. It's beyond my willpower, but I feel like you could make a super complicated spreadsheet for, like, map features and how they favor different races and different matchups. And obviously that would change over time based on understanding. That'd be so interesting to look at. There's probably someone out there who's done something like that and I just haven't seen it. Ooh, nice little blocky for a few seconds. Does have to not get cornered by that SCV though. And oh gosh, the shields took longer to regen than I expected. But the moment he regened even a little bit, he's got to get out of there because he knows that Reaper's hot on his tail. And he's going to run south, knowing the Reaper's about to pop out. If he wants to save this, you want to run to the corner. And you'll probably want to recall about no later than 210, because you know the Reaper's going to be on top of you. So if you recall right now, you're still alive. If you wait any longer, you're dead. He's waiting longer. He's going to sacrifice the probe. There is an advantage to this. It means the Reaper wastes a lot of time chasing you, which doesn't really get it that much closer to your base. So your first Adept can now afford to go straight across the map, and your second unit, especially with the Chrono Boost, will be out in time to defend that Reaper if it still comes in. I'm curious to see what percentage the side you spawn on changes the win rate. Says averages. I know Artosis is a big believer it's easier to fight at the top of your screen than the bottom of your screen. So it's easier to like attack towards the top, whatever. But like, I guess it depends if you're attacking or defending more. It's such a like, it's such a weird thing to try and figure out. All right, those SCVs do take a bit of damage. At depth there, just dancing around. We get the barracks, the factory, and the starport hanging on out. Second gateway comes in along with the quick Twilight Council. Looks like a standard blink opening, denying a little bit of mining. It's good. It's effective harassment, doesn't cost you too much, and even gets another hit in and shades out to safety. Reaper's potentially able to get a bit of damage since you don't have any shields, but obviously has to be careful to not get caught itself. Stalker did stay at home, and now the rowboat goes down. Probe there looks like it wants to build a third gateway. MAXPAX has been favoring a 3-gate opening. Now, guys, he's left an opening on the left and there. I think that's a mistake. So that's kind of awkward. Alien can just drive in there. 2 probes pulled. Good micro on those probes so far. He will lose one of those. That should be the extent of the damage. Gets a scout as well. Sees the 4th gateway. Nice scouting. All right, so at this point, as MAXPAX, you just go take a 3rd base. You still do a bit of a pressure, but you don't need to commit that much because you know CLEM is going to just go straight for siege tanks. He's probably going to build a 2nd bunker and then put 2 tanks in the main. To be fair, that because he went a double Widow Mine drop, 4-gate blink could still do big damage, especially if you blink up here straight away. First tank needs to be here, and then a 2nd one like there to cover it. You just got to make sure you put the tank back, like here, where it can't get killed. If he puts the tank here, he loses the game. The depth gets focused down. Oh! He just attacked his own bunker for a second. Didn't really end up impacting anything. Okay, Widowmine drop comes in. It's been spotted. Stalkers will deflect it. That probe building that pylon always so useful. And if you really want to shut it down, you leave 2 Stalkers. I kind of like the leave 1 Stalker on the edge and leave 1 or 2 Stalkers further back. He's going to go across the map now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Stalkers. He's going to try and do some damage. And that tank is very well placed. It could get killed by Stalkers blinking there and up here just above the tech lab. But easier said than done, especially since you don't have an observer. Well, that's going to be a big Stalker attack, gang. That is 11 Stalkers coming in at 515, and there's 2 Stalkers at home. Oh, he's going to go for Stim. I mean, he'll get rid of Stim, but Stim's only just started, so I don't know if it's the most impactful. Good pickup so far. Oh, and he actually blinks on the tank? Oh my god, he's going to take out a tank, but not the 2nd one. And I think that ends up being maybe a slight overcommitment if he doesn't get more. But oh, he gets a stall, he gets a tank and a Raven! CLEM's barracks are actually working against him. As I said, you need to put those tanks far back. And CLEM, massive doo-doos, just derping his Marines back and forwards. Big mistakes, guys. His Marines there, yeah. And this is part of why you don't go for a double Widowmine drop as well. Oh man, that was a big problem. But yeah, I think that tank just should be up and to the left, a single space. Keeps it so much safer there from those Stalkers. But honestly, great micro by MAXPAX. I don't like that this is such a tight choke point here. So I don't like the starport there personally, because I think you want the Marines to be able to fight head on. I also think you want to pull a bunch of SCVs. If they headbutt with their Stalkers, you know they come into a 4-gate, you should always pull a few SCVs, because you can afford to lose 10 SCVs and still be perfectly fine economically. You just have to try to protect your tanks and the like. And I think the Marines probably could have just stood and fought there. But that tank should have been rallied up and to the left. And he should have already pulled SCVs in here. The fact that he still hasn't pulled SCVs, and now his Raven and tank get on the wrong side of his buildings. CLEM's wall off here was really fancy, guys. It was really fancy, and it was kind of okay, but you need to pull workers earlier, and you need to make sure those tanks rally to the safe side, and you guard those tanks with those Marines. GG, nice win for MAXPAX. All right, very nice play there by MAXPAX. Amazing Warp Prism Micro. As much as I was talking about CLEM's mistakes, that is the way it happens sometimes. Sometimes it is, you know, you scout it, you think Protoss isn't going to commit that hard. I've got a nice wall guarding my tank, will be fine. But at the end of the day, he was already committed to the 2nd Widowmine before he scouted the 4-gate blink. And the ideal response to 4-gate blink is to only go single Widowmine into Tech Lab, or build the Tech Lab with a different structure. So your factory, the moment it's built the 2nd Widowmine, it can just swap over, start building siege tanks. But he built 2 Widowmines, then a Tech Lab, then a siege tank. And that's why he only had 1 tank when the attack came in. If you have 2 siege tanks, the splash damage stacks like crazy and it gets out of control. But Clem, in that scenario, could still have held, but he needed to respect it a little bit more. I think because he'd scouted it, he kind of didn't respect it. He was like, oh, you probably won't commit that hard. This should be pretty easy to defend. But if he pulled a bunch of SCVs earlier and just fought with those SCVs and Marines the moment the blink came in, I think that would be much harder for MAXPAX to get so much damage. Good morning from Victoria. Good morning to you, my friend. I was just down there in Melbourne last weekend for PAX. Had a great time. I love Melbourne, great city. Weather kind of sucks, but I find the best places in the world are often cold crap holes in terms of environment, and because of that, the people there are lovely and everyone's really nice and there's great food and all sorts of things. There's something about being in a cold environment makes people people have a lot of other good things going for them. I guess that's why so many good gamers are from cold places. Now, this is a very forward proxy Reaper, guys. Clem is looking for 2 or 3 probes. Big momentum in the early game. Probe has scouted this. He's trying to harass, but not really getting anything done. Factory is there. There is a Zealot out, and it is going to help against the Reaper, but I think you actually want to keep it closer to the mineral line. Because that Reaper, yeah, you want to just put pressure on it so it's a bit harder for it to micro. Oh, got to pull back these weak probes. That probe's exposed. Got to pull it back. Nice micro from MAXPAX, but you got to keep pulling these weak ones to the left. Because he's going to rotate after you, and the probes there do stop him from chasing. But notice these weak probes, they've got a circle. They got to get away. Stalker's almost out, but he goes back to mining a little bit too early. That was almost perfect micro there for MAXPAX. Clem actually could have killed one more probe, I believe. I think that probe was 1 shot from death. Actually, wait, 11? No, it only does 2 times. Okay, no, it wouldn't have died even if he targeted it one more time. Clem has good knowledge. It was the Reaper grenade that made it look like it was damaged enough to get 1 shot. But a Reaper damage is 8 a shot, whereas the grenade is only 5. So it wasn't quite enough. Would have survived with 3 hit points. Stargate's on the way here for MAXPAX. Looks like a return to the Oracle opening. And honestly, only losing 1 probe, it's a pretty damn solid defense. I would have lost at least 4 probes there and been tilted off the face of the earth. But MAXPAX is solid. He was mentally prepared for it, having scouted. And now we see Clem with a very delayed 3-minute command center. He's going for a super aggressive Widow Mine drop. Reaper's coming in, seeing his shield battery. Probes are pumping out. Oh, I was wondering. I was like, this is such a big commitment. Is it worth going armory? And then I didn't even say it because I was like, nah, that would be crazy. Apparently Clem's crazy, guys. He's doing a triple Widow Mine armory drop. Wow, 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 wow. And Phoenix are building, which is pretty good against this, but of course you don't have detection, so he does start a Robo nice and early though. Oh man, this is he's only got a Zealot, a Stalker, and a Phoenix. He basically just has to set off the Widow Mines, go back to mining, and wait for the Observer. The Reapers are going to try to distract. You would normally want to jump in the main, but there's a shield battery in each base. MAXPAX is playing incredibly safe. He hasn't seen the medevac. Oh, this is kind of a waste of a liftoff here. Yeah, he drops it immediately because he's like, oh god, I got to chase that medevac right here, right now. Widow Mine is going to just set off on a single probe. Widow Mine's in the main, already forcing him to pull there. He's going to lose a total of 5 workers. Could be worse, but he's got to get back to mining. Oh god. Oh man, this is really hard to keep track of the timers as well, guys. This is really hard to keep track of the timers. This is already massive damage. Sometimes people just build an Oracle here because it's the fastest way to get detection out. Man, his knowledge, his timing sense is so good. He pulls off like 4 seconds ahead of time, lets that get shot, and then, oh, he's pulling these probes maybe a little late though. Nope, just 3 more probes go down, back to mining, and well bloody done, mate. Well bloody done. The Widow Mines are going to try and hide, but of course, no chance of them getting out of there. Zealot, Stalker, Observer go after that one. Phoenix pick up that one. And at the end of the day, MAXPAX loses 10 workers. And you might think, what a disaster. Normally, yes. But remember, this command center only started at 3 minutes. He's only at 31 SCVs. I would say it's a successful opening for Clem, but I don't necessarily put him ahead or anything like that. He seems to have his production going very well in that his 3rd barracks is already halfway done. He's got an armory, which obviously he'll need later in the game. Engineering bay is already almost finished. But he's down 6 workers, and MAXPAX is going for Robo Bay, looking like he wants to go for a 3rd base as well. You could argue he's hitting a supply block here, but I think his pylon finished before he missed any probe production. So I don't really see any big challenge for MAXPAX. Looks like he has to play a pretty normal Phoenix Colossus build. Got an Immortal on the way, and he'll go from there. Widowmines fire every 28 seconds, is it, guys? I actually have no idea. You guys can let me know in chat. I know a cannon takes 29 seconds to build, and it's slightly longer than it takes a Widowmine to fire, I believe. Third Nexus is on the way. Robo does start the first Colossus. Phoenix here looking for a pickoff. Notice he doesn't go for the Marauder because that'll take him too long to kill. He knows the Cyclone and the Viking will respond in time. But I like that, you know, when your opponent's covering their natural and their main really well, just getting rallying SCVs can be effective. Got a Reaper there, and look at that, a sneaky 2 Widowmine drop. Apparently Widowmines fire once every 29 seconds. We've got an update on that. And that is real life seconds, by the way. Remember, they did change the time to be actual time rather than the Blizzard time, which was 40% extra speed or something like that they used until about halfway through StarCraft 2's history. Reaper comes in. Shield battery means it's not really a concern. There is a move out on the front at the same time. Stim shields +1. All those upgrades coming in. Hello? Okay, he sends a Stalker to deal with it. It's that low priority. Reaper's going to take forever to even get through the shield battery here. Like, it does get cleaned up. And Widowmine drop comes in behind, gets 2 probes. Is that it? Looks like only 2 probes. Looks like the other Widowmine must have got picked up by the Phoenix. 8 Marine drop. Snakes off towards the main base. There's a good pylon pattern, though. MAXPAX will see it, but look, the army at the front's distracting him. That 8 Marine drop going in towards the main. A few warp-ins will really help, but he's only got 1 gateway, so he's going to defend with Phoenix. And to be fair, he has enough. That's 7 Phoenix. 7 Phoenix beat 8 Marines in a medevac. This is not the right call against heavy Phoenix player. He should have chased him down, though. He could have chased him down and killed that whole drop. Big misstep from MAXPAX. You want to punish a Terran for putting on this much pressure, and he's just missed an opportunity. Yeah, that definitely is some damage he could have got, because Clem's got a scary army. You've got your second Colossus out. He just attacked his own Immortal to kill the Widowmine because he didn't have detection. That's so smart, because that actually didn't even take shields off. It only knocked the barrier off the Immortal. That is so clever. I usually see people attacking their own Stalkers, but not like that. Another Widowmine drop comes in. Sorry, guys. Bad observing by me. But yet again, it gets shut down. I mean, deja vu for Clem. Single probe kill. Widowmine gets shut down. But he leaves the medevac. Oh no, he's going to send 2 Phoenix across to hunt it down, while the other Phoenix try to get back in position to stop a drop in the main. And he's actually splitting them up pretty well as well, looking to try and catch that medevac. There is a drop going into the main right now. It's a triple drop. Phoenix are flying after it. They take out a medevac. Another one's very low. The Colossus here. This is a dangerous move for Clem. Clem, he's going very gambly with this, and I think MAXPAX is responding pretty well, but the battery overcharge gets focused down. At the same time, there's an attack diving into his third. This might pay off big time for Clem. Oh, he's done it. He's done it. I think MAXPAX shouldn't have split his Phoenix to hunt down that medevac. I think that really cost him here. It's one of those things where it was just a little bit too fancy, and Clem with that medevac twerking in his face does catch him off. If we look at that one more time, so when he splits here to chase the medevac, if he has 2 more Phoenix back up in the main, you can imagine they're going to stop a few more units unloading. Imagine 2 more Phoenix there. Because he actually, and if he focus fired a little bit quicker as well, such a gamble from Clem, but it pays off so huge. Because he's only got 1 gateway. So MAXPAX is very immobile at this point. And I think failing to catch that 8 Marine drop before means it's just a very, very hard position. If you're only on 1 gate, your Phoenix is such an important part of the puzzle, and the Phoenix really weren't able to do much in this fight. So good positioning by Clem. It was knife's edge, but he finds the weakness. Well played. Frustrating loss there for MAXPAX, who I think actually handled the drilling claws, or not drilling claws, but the armory, I should say, Widowmine drop quite well. But when you get put on the defensive like that for so long, you lose a bit of map awareness and map vision. And Psystorm Gaming's MAXPAX just not quite able to hang on against the advance of Clem, who Clem knew his army was not going to be scaling all that well there, but he knew he had overwhelming numbers at that moment, and that was the right time to really press his advantage. So very well done by Clem. And to be fair, it was a gamble. If MAXPAX had all of the Phoenix in the main, he focus fires the medevacs, a lot of those bio units don't get out. That's a bit of a different story, but it's the right call for Clem at the end of the day. And it was those little Widowmine drops in the back that I think just have so much potential damage, and they really force the Protoss to respond. I think the top Terrans are just masters of utilizing those Widowmine drops. to really threaten the massive damage and force the Protoss out of position so well. Now, this is a engineering bay block, is it? Oh, and he scouts out there. He will see the engineering bay block. And actually, MAXPAX is planning... Oh, no! MAXPAX! Oh, my lord. Perfect SCV timing, guys. Clem purposely planned to do this eBay block super late. Because the super late eBay block, you're not checking. It normally starts at somewhere between 1 minute and 5 seconds to 1 minute and 18 seconds. He started at 1 minute 19. It's actually disgusting. And he catches MAXPAX completely off guard with it. MAXPAX has got a Zealot building. I mean, but he spotted it so late, it's not worth pulling probes. You need to pull probes immediately the second it starts and already have one working on the SCV if you're going to break it with probes. As it is, he has to go second gas here. He doesn't want to take a third because he knows the reacted factory's coming up behind it. And MAXPAX is having some nightmares against Clem's sneaky eBay blocks into reacted factory, Hellion Cyclone recently. This has been just giving him nightmares. And you can see he's like, okay, this messes up my build, but as long as I keep building probes, clear it with a Zealot, and then I'll build the Nexus. It's not great. I have to go Stargate before Nexus, but you know, at least my tech's a little bit faster. We'll see what we can make of it. He does need to build another pylon as well. He just doesn't want to delay his Nexus right now. So we go, Nexus goes down, and then he needs probe pylon. So he starts a probe. And where does he build the pylon? Probably in the main, right? MAXPAX, don't forget your pylon, buddy. Oh, okay. There we go. 100 minerals straight into the pylon. Beautiful. You remembered it. There's a proxy starport. It's going to be the Hellion drop. Oh, Clem has been spamming this build lately. He's spamming this build, guys. I even saw him do it in a TvT. The Hellion drop with the proxy starport. He's loving this build. He's obsessed with it right now. Hellions get some damage, but the Adept does shade away. Barely doesn't see that starport. Phoenix is being built. Remember, I said I want to see a lot of Phoenix from MAXPAX. I feel like Protoss players being scared off Phoenix openings has enabled this sort of opening from Clem to become way too powerful recently. But I love the fact that MAXPAX is making the adjustment. And I mean, Clem's playing so aggressively, and MAXPAX knows this. So he's like, okay, I just got to lock this early defense down. The shield battery at both mineral lines is huge. Because once you kill 2 Hellions, they no longer will one-shot probes. You need 3 Hellions to one-shot the probes. 3 times 14 is a number greater than 40. I'm going to say probably 42. But, you know, doing maths on stream, not always the most viable. Medevac's going to come out. Does he build a Liberator or anything? Or does he just float that home? It looks like the starport's just chilling for now. Maybe waiting for a bit more gas for a Liberator. Hellion drop coming in. Phoenix are well positioned, and there's going to be a third one. I think this is shut down with the 2 shield batteries. I think this is completely shut down. MAXPAX sees it. Zealot and the Adept are there. And the Phoenix come in. They pick up 2 of those Hellions. As I said, no one-shot capability. What's he killed? 1 probe is all he gets this game. That's fantastic. That's a great shutdown. You can't really do anything with a follow-up because there's shield batteries. So that was awesome. The starport is still on the wrong side of the map. He's building Cyclones right now. Clem, did we forget about this starport, mate? At this point, he's like, well, I don't want the Phoenix to kill it. Okay, he's going to lift it off and send it home, but definitely very slow on that. All right, Phoenix coming in. Ooh, mass repair. Oh, clutch mass repair for Clem. He's just going to grab an SCV on the way out, but Phoenix does take damage. That was really well done by Clem. Just repairs that Cyclone while the second Cyclone pops, deflects the Phoenix pressure, wastes a few lifts. Only loses a bit of mining time for it. So 5 Phoenix are out, guys, going to the number 6. Robo there as well. Starport will take a little bit of damage, but of course it has an armor and 1,300 hit points, and these guys do literally, yeah, 2 times 4. 8 damage a shot from each one. It's not very effective. It is funny, though. The factory and the Starport are so tanky. I know it's asymmetric balance, but why is the Robo so weak? Why has the Robo only got 900 total hit point pool, and the factory's 1250 and the Starport's 1300, guys? Imbalanced! It's funny, because back in the day, the Assimilator used to have more hit points than the other side's gases by a lot. We used to complain about it a lot as Zerg players. Snoot led the charge on that one. Cyclone does get taken out there, not bad. Is it tied to construction time? It's definitely not. No, I think they have pretty much identical. Terran buildings burn down, whereas Protoss buildings have shields. Fair enough. Zerg buildings regenerate very slowly, but they have similar hit points to the Protoss buildings, which is interesting. It's not nearly as good as the shield mechanic when it comes to repairing. Terran building's a big metal armored thing, so, I mean, lore-wise it makes sense. With how many robos I've seen snipe for in the last year, I definitely feel I'd rather have the 1300 hit point that burns. It's kind of funky. It's kind of funky. I do still find it funny that the Leviathan Zerg skin sets on fire, but it doesn't actually take burning damage when it's below a certain hit points. That's probably the dumbest thing in terms of like the lore. You're like, wait, why is it burning but not taking damage? This is a pretty scary push. I don't think he commits though, because the Colossus shuts down these Marines so hard. He's just forcing MAXPAX to build a lot of defensive units. Lots of probes are building right now. Forge and Twilight going up in the main base. Observer still sees everything, and he's moving out to take a third. So he hasn't built a 4th and 5th barracks. This is just a standard sort of 3 barracks pressure. Stim shields is there. +1 and concussive are coming in now. And Clem, yeah, just macroing on up, exerting pressure. But you know what? After having his expansion block, MAXPAX has recovered this game incredibly well. Look at the units lost tab. That's fantastic. 1 probe for a Cyclone and Marine, 4 Hellions, 3 SCVs. The Phoenix have done a great job. There's 9 Phoenix as well. He's leaving 5 at home and 4 as a harassment squad, which is actually, I said don't split them up in that last game. I think right now this is a great call. Picks off the SCV on the command center. These guys spot this drop potentially poking in towards the main base. 5 Phoenix won't really stop those unloading. But I think MAXPAX can move up to a central location with his Colossus and be fine. He's got 1 Colossus nearby. As I said, that's not going to stop him unloading there. And the medevacs take a lot of damage. Oh, the Colossus! The Colossus! MAXPAX! Oh, MAXPAX drops the ball there. His Phoenix on the other side. One of those goes down as well. Oh, this is such a dangerous move for Clem, and he gets away with it again. He even kills a Phoenix with those Marines. Clutch focus fire. But the Phoenix did just pick off an SCV again on the way out. So losing a Colossus really sucks. Losing 2 Phoenix, not great. But delaying the 3rd is very frustrating for Clem as well. So Clem doesn't feel too great. He's on 45 probes for 66 workers. That's such a big deficit on the SCVs to probes. And MAXPAX is like, I'm making charge. I'm making +1. 3rd Colossus is on the way. And you know what happens after 3rd Colossus comes, guys? The Warp Prism. The Archons and the Zealots warp in, and you go and hit an attack. And where is that Ghost Academy? It does not exist. The 2nd Starport's on the way. 4th and 5th barracks are building, but the Ghost Academy has not even started. And if MAXPAX wants to go hard on that 66 probe 3-base timing, it is a winning move. He'll have 10 gateways. Oh man, just like on Radhu said at the start of the series, he starts a 4th and it immediately gets cancelled. There seems to be a pattern. Just the lack of vision for Protoss and the abundance of vision for Clem. Now the Phoenix could actually clean up that Marine drop very easily if they spot it. But that is a big if. Medevac has quite a lot of sight vision. Ooh, good catch for Clem. Gets a Phoenix. Wouldn't mind the rest of these pulling home. Oh, he could get the Widowmine. Gets the Widowmine just before it cools down. And you can grab a few SCVs there as well. 4th base is going to go down again, though. Light damage from Protoss to the Terran economy, whereas Terran is running rampant right now, having a bit of a party. Colossus will chase army. Few Zealots do get hit by Widowmines. Sentry did take some damage as well. Look at the units lost tab. That Colossus, those 3 Phoenix, still the most valuable units Protoss has lost. Protoss has 10 gates. Protoss has charge. Protoss has +1. There is a Warp Prism out. It is go time, guys. It is easy kill timing, I think, right now. I don't think you can defend this as Clem. What do you got? Okay, he does have enough Vikings, actually. But does he have enough bio? Only 10 Marauders, 13 Marines. This is going to be a very scary attack right now. You warp in a few more Zealots, a few more Archons. You got lots of Zealots coming across the map, Archons coming across the map. And look at this, he's just going to charge in right now. That Widowmine is going to fire into the army. The Phoenix could get gunned down, as could the Colossus. Oh god, oh god, oh god, maybe not. Maybe I called it too early. The Zealots are a bit too far behind. The Colossus just standing and fighting. MAXPAX does break Clem on the top front. The Stalkers and the Archons are going to come in. Somehow 2 Colossus are still alive. What have these Vikings been shooting this whole time? I don't know if he dodged some projectiles with Warp Prism pickups or what. So I feel like 10 Vikings should have killed those Colossus a lot faster. The SCVs are unable to escape. The Archons and the Zealots absolutely smash. The Colossus goes down. Zealot working on that 3rd base. Stalkers, Archons, and Zealots are going to start to pull back as well. Marines, Marauders, Vikings having a bit of a party here. The Zealot Stalker needs to get out of there. You've done the damage. You killed the mineral line. Get out of there. But oh no, he clicks in the wrong direction. His Stalker's going the wrong way. The Zealots turn around to try and let those Stalkers escape. But that means those Stalkers go back in on the right side. Oh, damn it. Bit of a pathing error. He needed to run to the north. He clicked somewhere in the middle and his unit split and went in the wrong direction. Remember, he doesn't have Blink and he's lost all of his Phoenix. So Blink is one of the highest priority upgrades right now for MAXPAX. He needs to remember that, and he does. Zealots are ready for a backstab on the right side. He's going to do a run by on the third base. A lot of fresh mules there. If he goes in right now, he finds the money. Problem for MAXPAX is he doesn't know that the army's coming across the map. A little bit of a two-pronged multi-pressure pokey poke from CLEM coming out to try and equalize. MAXPAX moving towards a 5th base against a 3-base Terran that is limping along economically, but still has a fearsome army. Colossus being rebuilt, despite 4 Vikings still being on the field. The Ghosts now being added in. You can see they're starting to pop out of these barracks. 1-1 upgrades versus +1 in favor of the Terran right now as well. More Zealot Archon coming across this map. MAXPAX might be a bit over-eager on the trading. I'd like to see him just breathe for a moment, but hold that thought. He's got a Prism in the main. That's why he wants to do this. He knows that if he attacks in 2 places at once, CLEM can only really defend one side. He does chase the Prism off with the Vikings, but look at that. A Medevac goes down to Archons. Another Medevac goes down. Another one. The command center is very damaged. The SCVs are trying to repair, but that means they present themselves as a target to the Archon Colossus. The Zealots are running rampant. There's a Zealot in the natural. I don't know how he got there. He's butchering those SCVs. Too many Archons. EMPs can't be everywhere at once, and I think the Prism may have even gone back into the main for another warp in. Great play by MAXPAX to tie up the series despite CLEM's sneaky, devious engineering bay block. All right, guys. CLEM is now tied up 2-2 in the top right side of Hecate. And in the bottom left side, we got Storm Gaming's MAXPAX. He's going to go for a scout there. Will he look for an eBay block again? Because that is such an annoying move. The fact that he handled it so well and came out on top was really good. But if CLEM were to maybe not do such a predictable follow-up, very difficult to deal with that as well as he could have. And to be fair, it's like, yeah, if CLEM just goes 3 command center or something behind it, or straight into bio, you could have a big issue if you're just there building Phoenix super early before your expansion's even up, and then you don't have anything to do with them. Zealot is building, so he's actually scouting for it though. At least, I don't think he was down there too early. Does get the Nexus down. Command center gets not blocked at all, really. It goes down right on time on a minute 40. Very nicely done by CLEM. CLEM didn't bother SCV scouting, did he? He's playing blind. He's confident. He's unafraid. Terran players unafraid these days of those old Protoss openings, the proxy gates. The only one we really see is MAXPAX will mix a 3-gate in to great effect once in a best of 5 series, but he hasn't done it this series. The old proxy a second gateway, build a 3rd one at home after you expand. We haven't seen that in a little while. As I say that, Zealot goes down the left of the map. Adept will be coming in right behind it. Reaper's just checking for proxies right now. Factory's on the way. Notice the second gas goes down after the bunker starts, which keeps you safe against an early Adept. But this Zealot took such a circuitous route across the map, man. I don't normally ever say that word out loud. Circuitous. Oh, jeez. We're going to trip over that one a lot. And it gets here, and because there's a second Marine built as well, that's a lot of firepower, man. That Zealot can't really find the mark at all. Going for the building SCV is probably the best call. Look at how quickly it gets gunned down, man. Adept's going to be shading backwards as well. Hellion. Oh, gets cancelled, builds a Cyclone instead. And the Cyclone's such a good early game unit for shutting down the Adept Vision. Now, that's something MAXPAX especially has been frustrated with. So very good idea to do the things your opponent has voiced frustration at. Getting the denial on the Adept Vision. That's been a big bummer for MAXPAX in the early game of this so far. To see the barracks is still at the front. Oh, you got to get out of there. As long as you use your next shade to escape, you're safe. You need to remember to use that next shade to escape. He's going to try and take out an SCV. At the same time, Reaper goes after a probe. Slick micro for MAXPAX, but not slick enough. Loses a bit of mining time. The Reaper still might get a kill. Did he take out an SCV on the other side? Looks like he did kill one SCV with those Adepts just before the shade finished. He gets rid of the Reaper. Loses a bit of mining time, but doesn't lose any probes. CLEM. That's a mistake. Of like, there's 2 Marines loses to anything. There's no reason for that to be there. There's also an SCV in the bunker that should be mining, but he's forgotten about it. So CLEM feeling a little bit of the pressure this early game. MAXPAX doing such a good job of stopping him in his tracks in that last one. Oh, Cyclone's going to come forward. Adept blocking quite nicely. Oh, get out of there. And they both escaped this time around. Good job with those Adepts. It's funny because the Cyclone's quite fragile. Adepts can actually kill it pretty quickly if it just stood in front of them. But because it has that massive range advantage in the lock-on, it can dance around them pretty much all day. Sorry for the alert popping up there. My apologies, guys. Big thank you, though, Static Recursion, for the support. If you guys are enjoying the cast, please go check out the Patreon down below, linked in the description. Goes a big way to supporting the channel if you can afford to drop a couple bucks there. And there's some nice, unique rewards to say thank you for those who do hop on board now. The Adept has only 7 sight range. I believe the Medevac has 9. So I think the Adept may not have scouted it. Yeah, Stalker's moving out of the main base. Oh, great. The Clem's so good at that, spotting a unit and then adjusting the Medevac's path to hide. Luckily, there's a pylon there, but this 2 Widowmine drop could find some big damage. There's only 2 Stalkers there. Takes 9 Stalker shots to kill a Medevac. If you get 3 Stalkers, you can 3-shot it. But he moves out of... Oh, he's out of position. Oh, he's got Blink ready, so at least he can kind of blink forward and get some damage on the Medevac. If you can stop it getting into the natural, that's the main thing. Oh, he's going to shut it down. Hey, I think he's pretty happy with that. Now, arguably, he doesn't need to sacrifice a probe there. He's just doing that to deal with it as quickly as possible. He could have waited for Blink and then used that. But he wants to focus on the front and get that going as quickly as possible. And look at this, guys. Clem thinks he's being 4-gated. Remember, he died to 4-gate Blink earlier, but this is just a light harassment. The Adepts are just like, lol, let's just kill a few SCVs. He gets an SCV that's coming home from the other side of the map for some reason as well. MAXPAX does lose both Adepts, but look at this. There's tanks, there's bunkers. He's not even building add-ons on these barracks. He's also going 4 barracks before expanding, which is very committed. And there's been a 3rd base on the way this whole time. So this 3rd base is already almost finished. The Stalkers might go after the Stim Pack upgrade there. Unlikely to find the kill on it, but that just pick off a Marine potentially, dance around. There's no reason to force your way in here as MAXPAX. Just chill. He's going to warp in more Stalkers. I don't think there's any reason to commit to aggression right now other than light picking off of SCVs with drops. Yet the fact that he just warped in Stalkers tells us he wants to go for it. This is a terrible move for MAXPAX. Oh no! Even getting the tank, as nice as that is, there's no way it's worth losing this many Stalkers. He saw a Terran that is so paranoid with walls of barracks, masses of Marines, multiple bunkers. MAXPAX throws away 5 Stalkers. MAXPAX is showing reckless abandon right now. He used to be such a calm, cool, collected player. He has recently become a more parting-esque player, a player who is frantically, furiously trying to jam it into any opening that he sees. Luckily, he gets a few SCVs on that second wave, but that was unnecessary, that first attack. And remember, this is going to be a Widowmine style. This is not a siege tank style. The tanks are not that important. Killing a tank is usually nice if it opens up the chance for more damage or severely weakens a push, but there's no way it's worth that cost. 3rd command center is building on the high ground, so Clem is gearing up for a longer game, and it's MAXPAX's job here to get into Colossus, to add those upgrades, to get into that future tech, and to really just chill on the aggression for a moment. Stalker's there. Okay, he's going to blink back. Bunker gets sold. He could definitely sell the second one as well, but I guess without a siege tank, he's feeling a little bit claustrophobic. Wants that bunker just as a little bit of safety. 4 depots building at once. Scan finally gets rid of that observer out front. About time Clem put MAXPAX in the dark. Hell, it's about climb. Yes, I combined Clem and time just then. Can I say I'm a professional speaker of words? Widowmine drop is right now tracking a Zealot drop. This is one of the funnier interactions I've seen today. Zealot Sentry Immortal moving down that right side. Oh, if he could split the army with some Immortals, Sentries, and Force Fields, that'd be great, but looks like it's more of a run by than anything else. Clem spots it, though. Get out of there. Run, Clem. Run, MAXPAX, run. He's going to lose 2 Zealots. Oh, good split fire with the Marauders. He's going to get 3 of those. Sentries come forward. Looks like the Widowmine fired on another unit over there. Units lost tab is starting to show that very big advantage opening up for Clem. On the other hand, the 3rd has been mining earlier, and MAXPAX has a Colossus out. He's building a second one, and his 4th Nexus is on the way. Here on Hecate, you do get spread across a wide front. Once you take a 5th base, there are 1,000 different attack angles. I don't think MAXPAX is going to feel confident in the late game against a Terran like Clem here. Wow, this is a wild attack for MAXPAX. He's going to try and bait him in. But look at that. He drops the Zealot. He's dropping Zealots in the main. Zealots coming in from the back as well. The Widowmines are going to do pretty big damage. At the same time, the Colossus Stalker trying to fall back. This army is done for. He's going to have to just try and save some of the Stalkers, I believe, as that army does go down. The Stalker's going to try to get out. Zealots are doing a lot of damage, though. He does take out a depot there. The Prism's going to try and recall potentially out of there. 17 workers went down. My lord, a mixture of workers dying in the main and the third at the same time. Attacking everywhere at once. MAXPAX. Favorite thing to do to force those mistakes out of the Terran. The end of the day, though, that was an amazing trade for Clem. If he can get his medevacs together, heal up his bio, and then take a big fight, he probably can just win this game. He is so far ahead in army supply right now. MAXPAX trying to distract him with Zealot run-bys, but he's got to get a proper army together, and he just does not have that right now. On the other hand, Clem is overstimmed, but oh, MAXPAX accidentally letting those Zealots charge, losing 5 Zealots. One of them does get a chance to escape, but it turns around and immediately dies. MAXPAX, oh god, he's in such a bad spot right now. This is so rough. This is so rough, but the bio is heavily wounded. He didn't stop to heal. Zealot run-by does get in on the production. There's a War Prism there as well on the front. The Colossus need to hold the line. The battery is not ready, and that's really hurting MAXPAX. He's starting to get overrun. The bio is going to collapse over that 4th base, and it looks like take it out. Battery overcharge comes down. The Colossus does fall, but Zealots plus battery overcharge may be able to hold on. The Widowmine's causing them big issues, though. Zealot is going to get inside the main base as well. Is he going to warp in there? I can't believe you'd be brave enough to warp into your opponent's base when you've just lost your 4th. MAXPAX is looking to be in big trouble. Clem's back up to 60 workers. He's dropping mules, and I think that might just be too much of a lead for him. Killing the 4th base, tying up the worker count, being this far ahead on army. MAXPAX needs some big pickoffs right now. That's why he's trying to get all these Marauders, but the Widowmines are causing him issues. He doesn't have any observers, so he's going to blink these Stalkers back, dodge those Widowmine shots, allowing him to kill him. He needs to do it to that one as well in the north, but he just blinked forward, which means I think he doesn't realize it's there. A lot of things going on at once. Dark Shrine coming in for MAXPAX. He's on 1-1 upgrades. He's got a Prism staying active, but MAXPAX is looking pretty damn screwed. Looks like he managed to set off the Widowmine with the Zealot rather than the Warp Prism, or maybe even picked up to dodge it, which is a really nice micro. 4th Nexus is on the way as well. 3rd base looking slick. Dark Shrine's on the way. +2 attack on the Forge coming on in. Oh, Zealot drop going on that right side. Let's go. 2nd Engineering Bay and an Armory coming into the back. Clem is going to transition. He's got that 4th Command Center halfway done. He's up 30 supply in this game. And I do think he could simply, chase the Prism off the right side, and it looks like it did run away, and then start to push. It's going to be very hard for MAXPAX to defend. He's got a few Stalkers, a few Zealots. He's building a 3rd Colossus. The Dark Templar are really what he's banking on here. And to be fair, it's been a low economy game, which is normally the sort of game where you skip turrets. He's completely skipped turrets. Okay, so the play here for MAXPAX is you need big damage. You have to hide the Dark Templar, wait for him to move out or to be occupied with your main army, and then run into the Dark Templar, 3 or 4 of them at once, one into every single base, and instantly target those workers down. Oh, Clem might notice this. He sees it! Of course he sees it! Every single time he sees it, because Clem's a ridiculous player. He catches the 2nd one coming in as well. The 3rd one gets scanned into the 3rd base, and that's why I'm saying you gotta wait for him to be on the map. Because if he's at home and you send your Dark Templar in, the chance of slipping them by him, it's like, against 99% of the player base, spotting a Dark Templar, it's like hearing a whisper on the wind. It's like finding a needle in the haystack. Happening to see that Dark Templar walk in, for Clem, it's like he can hear the thundering, bloody steps of those Dark Templar a mile away. You know, it's like an experienced hunter against someone who's never been out there before and is just thrashing their way through the bush, scaring off every single possible creature from miles and miles. The Dark Templar don't find the mark. He's going to go triple Robo. I do like that. He's going to go triple Robo. This is something that normally MAXPAX is not wanting to do, but he's doing it this time. He's on 4 Colossus against what's about to be 10 Vikings. He needs to get those disruptors out. If Clem goes right now with 10 Vikings, I think he wins the game. I don't think there's anything that MAXPAX can do. So I like this move. MAXPAX is just distracting him right now. Zealot's picking off SCVs there. Ooh, Viking and a Marine going to pick that Prism off pretty quickly. But this buys time for MAXPAX. Remember, they're mining thousands of resources a minute. As long as this buys him time, he can get 3 disruptors at a time. Blink Dark Templars on the way. He's got a 2nd Forge, so he's got 2-1 upgrades versus 1-1. He's actually ahead on the upgrades. He could start more of those if he gets a bit more gas, though of course he's gas-starved right now, trying to make the disruptors. Single Marine runs in behind that base. A 9-foot-tall Protoss says, "Come here, little boy." Literally stabs him in the back, slices him in half, legs dismembered from the body. 3 disruptors are out, 3 more on the way. Clem's giving MAXPAX more time than he should have. I think he's maybe waiting for 2-2. But those 10 Vikings have hard countered the Colossus for so long. If he fights now, I still think he's got potentially a winning army. But he's giving MAXPAX time to build up that disruptor count, and that is so essential. That's so essential for MAXPAX. Look at Colossus instantly gets shot down. Oh my golly. The disruptor shots are needed to survive. The Colossus are useless. And he's out of disruptor shots. Oh god. Oh god. MAXPAX is in trouble. They're going to be coming off cooldown soon. But look at this. The Vikings are just annihilating him. Clem is all over it. Those Vikings, when you combine them with Clem's micro abilities, are just a disgusting unit. Disruptor's going to go forward. Clem, oh, barely dodges it. Next one also barely dodges it. Next one lands. Oh, Clem! Clem eats MAXPAX disruptor shot to the face. Loses like 6 or 7 Marauders. That was a big, big shot there. Dodge, dodge, dodge into walks in there and takes it to the face. Now, the Colossus count's almost gone, but there are 8 disruptors up. But remember, there's not a lot of supporting army. It's mostly disruptors. So you split your army up. How are you going to use those disruptors if these armies start just marauding around? Clem is abusing his mobility, as he should. He's taking a 5th base while denying the 6th base of MAXPAX. He's going for lib range with the fusion core. 3 liberators at a time. Ship weapons. 3-3 on the way, whilst 3-2 is on the way for MAXPAX. MAXPAX doing an impressive job of trying to stabilize here. The army on that left will get pushed back. Disruptor shot just clips on a single marauder. Ooh. Ten disruptors, guys. That's 40 supply now. My god. That's an insane amount of supply held up in those disruptors. But, you know what? Disruptors are one of the best late game units. The question is, can you really micro them on 2 sides at once effectively? And also, can Clem dodge on 2 sides at once effectively? It goes both ways. Clem takes his 2nd giant ball to the face. He has traded 5,000 resources more efficient, and he's got a 5th base going up. Definitely, that can be a little scary. Widow Mines are... Yeah, you don't really ever want to take a Widow Mine shot because you know you're almost dead after that. He's going to risk it. You got to risk it for the biscuit, guys. That's a common Australian saying. DT is going to warp into the main base. Liberator will kill that. But DT is going to start to have a little bit of a party. Marines trying to deal with it. Dark Templar going to veer around and find what damage they can. Army on the front is there. Viking do take out the Colossus, the last one standing. MAXPAX Dark Templar are getting hunted down. I feel like he's so good at hunting down the Dark Templar as Clem. MAXPAX is going to shove. MAXPAX has got him on the defensive, which is all he wants right now. The Disruptors are out in the open. Disruptors flying in all different directions, but they're not guarded by the army. And oh man, this might be a bit too messy. He's killing the base on the right, but those Disruptors need to get out of there. So many Disruptors going down, but the Command Center goes down and the SCVs. He's got 3 Robos. He can rebuild these reasonably quickly. I think he probably should have recalled. Clem is going to chase those balls and kick him right in the gonads. Liberators are getting taken out by the Stalkers at the same time. Both players going after each other's powerful artillery-style units. The Zealot Stalker, is it going to keep going or will it back away? On the left side, Dark Templar, go in! Dark Templar, go in! Oh, he kills 2. 2 Dark Templar have gone down, lowering the damage output. If he can get 1 more, maybe, but not quite enough with the mass repair. The Dark Templar get a base. And oh, this army's heavily damaged. The Stalkers taking out some of the full medevacs. MAXPAX diving on top and still doing great with the Disruptor play. Oh my lordy lord, looking fantastic. Clem took a few too many of those shots. He let up his pressure, and he's actually let MAXPAX take the driver's seat and pick some nice engagements. And remember, Terran was building a lot of infrastructure, a lot of upgrades, and just when that was all about to pay off, he takes some really bad fights. He's still up in army supply, but his economy has taken a big hit. If MAXPAX can just survive, he'll do okay. He sieged the right side base. He's now sieging this left base here as well. So 2 bases getting their probing denied right now. MAXPAX losing a bunch of workers. He's still got way more than Clem. He's going to jump on the planetary on the left as well. Oh my lord, that's Clem's last mining base. Clem has next to no other resources. He's just lifted his main down to this one. Clem needs to go. He needs to go win the game, and that's never a position you want to be in up against Disruptors, because there's one thing Disruptors are good at, and that is stopping a frontal push. They're not good at defending multiple areas in the long term and always consistently landing their hits, but if you're forced to attack into them, that's where they land big. But that ball went flying right through the Terran army. MAXPAX making a bit of a mistake there, losing all of his Disruptors. Oh no! The cannon battery there is going to kill a few Marines, but look how quickly it gets gunned down by that Stim Bio. Zealots running on the right side. The last mining baser, Clem, going down. The Disruptor count needs to get back up right now. Another Disruptor shot comes forward. It's going to take out a bunch of Marauders and Ghosts. Those Liberators are a force to be reckoned with. Dark Templar running in on the left. Looks like they do get scanned and sniped down by the bio. So many Zealots coming in, though. And Zealots are very difficult to deal with if you don't have significant numbers altogether. MAXPAX Zealots are finding all the value, whereas Disruptors found very little other than those couple of good shots. Seems like the Disruptors force the respect to CLEM. The Zealots find the actual damage in the backside. Disruptor shot goes forward. A couple Marauders do get sniped there. And the punish! Oh, Eucalyptus turning around. Okay, he's going to get that one before it can connect, but he did take one big Disruptor. Another one comes off cooldown, and another big shot lands. CLEM is going to have to tap out there in the late game. GG, well played. MAXPAX fighting back and winning the series 3-2.